What up guys, the Creator 13 here. I'm going to be showing you tips for making a good building in Minecraft. The first part of the video is just going to be for all buildings, like just how to plan it. But then later into the video we're going to get into some stuff that it's mainly like, city buildings, like these kind of mid-rise kind of buildings. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as you can see from this halfway complete build, I like to start off by planning, right? So in here, I have a skeleton made out of yellow concrete, right? So first of all, like with this building, I made the outside first, right? I said, okay, this is how big I want the building to be. And then what I did with this one is I went inside and I planned, right? So these are two townhouses, right? So you enter here and this is the living room, and then this is how you get upstairs, and that's the bathroom, and that's the kitchen, So you plan that kind of stuff out. I'll be making a building along with you. For starters, we've got to think about what we want our building to be. I'm thinking something along the lines of a stone building, right? 3 floors. And maybe it's a little more like squat, right? Maybe it's like something like this big, right? And then so that's the one building. And then maybe to the side we have a browner kind of building, something more like packed mud color, right? And maybe this one's shorter, right? And there's like, or maybe this one's slightly taller, and there's like an alley in between, right? Maybe this one, you got your lobby and stuff, but then you got like apartments. Then over here there's like, a bunch of like store type things. Like maybe this is like the apartments, like where all the people go to, like maybe there's like a laundromat and a pizza place and like an apartment for whoever to live there, right? Like maybe the owner of the pizza shop lives in the apartment, and then maybe something up here, But yeah, so like maybe I'm thinking I don't, with these kind of buildings, I don't usually go above 4 floors. This one might be an exception, but so then yeah, I like all my floors to be right. I start planning like this. So this level is the floor. So when I start building, say we have some hardwood floors, when I start building, this is where I'm going to put my floor, right? And then I like to make my floors 4 blocks and then a block for the ceiling, right? Because in modern buildings, the ceiling is never the same as the roof, right? So 1 block for the ceiling and then 1 block for the next floor. So then I'll pillar like this, and when I build, this is also the floor. So then same thing up here, yeah, and it does the same with like a roof. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then ceiling, floor. So then like even if it's like a modern style like roof, you can still do this same trick, right? And then if the concrete gets in the way, I can delete it and replace it with a better looking block, Oh, by the way, you can have bigger or smaller floor, or like bigger floors if you want. This is just my minimum. So I like to plan out my staircases, right? I say, okay, so the staircase will be that big, right? So that when I'm texturing, or when I have to build one of these like stairwell buildings, then I don't have to like fiddle around with it. I just plan it from the start, I'll make my outline, and then I'll get back to you when I've done that. Alrighty guys, I started making I made an outline for a single apartment in this this apartment building, right? So I made sure that yellow concrete, right, symbolizes walls. Orange concrete symbolizes furniture or non-wall things in the house. And then green symbolizes doors and windows. So keep in mind interior walls, right? So this wall right here will be a different color than this wall out here. Like this might be brick, but this might be cyan concrete, right? So this wall will be different. I only like to do this on big buildings because see, like, I couldn't make each bedroom a different color, right? Because it would shorten, like, this is the bathroom, right? So, like, if I wanted to have some detail here as, like, a stand for a toilet brush or something, I couldn't if I pushed this wall in to make the bathroom a different color, right? And the shower wouldn't be wide enough, and it would be, like, super cramped because it would be a different wall than the hallway, and it would be cramped in here, and, you know. So I usually only do that between the outside of the building, so that way I can add detail there. Like, for example, this building, I made the mistake of not doing that, and then I added graffiti, and so you would be able to see that inside the house. So I advise interior walls everywhere, just because details, you know. So there'll be like a fire escape on here, right? And this area is blocked because 1, that's a shower, and 2, you know, you need an area for the stairs to go that's not blocking a window, you know. And maybe like there's gonna be some windows here, you know. But I think I'm only gonna have 4 of these apartments for this building, and that'll be the floor plan size. I'll have a couple staircases and a couple elevators, and that's about it. So yeah, I'll get back to you once I'm done with that. Alright, outline's finished. I literally I copied this one over here, and then I mirrored both of them. So yeah, and then in the hallway, I made the hallways double thick walls, and then I added a thing back here, and then over here is the stairwell. I even planned out the stairwell right here. So pretend this is the floor, right? There's going to be a door here, then you can come up here, and then you can come up here, and then a door here. So it's one-sided, right? And yeah, so this will be tileable. And then same thing, staircase over here, and then elevator, and then a mechanical, like, maintenance room. Maybe we even extend it like this since this hallway isn't being used, right? But then maybe over here is like some sort of park, or not park, just outdoor space for the residents to hang out in. Like maybe there's some seating, maybe that in the lobby is used for something, I don't know, but like maybe there's a restaurant and there's outdoor seating, you know, something like that. But yeah, I got the windows, so keep in mind that the walls go out to here, right? And so we want to be careful about that, because this is the true corner of the building. Can't stray from that, because if we do, then there'll be like problems. So these are the true corners of the building. And so then now what I'll do is I'll copy the shape of this, and then I'll make the lobby and whatever the ground floor is, and yeah. So I'll see you once I have the whole building planned out. Alrighty guys, I finished copying the plans. So we have an empty space up here for the roof. I don't know if this is going to be the roof or like a penthouse or something, but yeah. So all these floors are the same as that first one we designed, so we can skip past those, but so first we have this receptionist area. So there's a little waiting area, an area for table, and then like a desk, right? And then all the stairs and elevators and stuff. That's the mail room. One of these is a boiler room, and one of these is, I have no clue. I can make it one big boiler room, I don't know, but you know, whatever. Yeah, but this is all like the mail. I have one block for each apartment, so that's nice. Yeah, and this enters into the restaurant. So I have 2 new blocks. So purple is empty space, and blue is fencing or partition. It's like not a wall, but like a partition, you know. So out front there's like a patio area. So there's like it's kind of fenced off. It's got all these tables and chairs and stuff. And then you enter in here, and there's like a little waiting area if there's a long wait, and the stand where the waitress or waiter or whoever like gives you your menu, you know. And then empty space in there. You turn around here, this is like a bar, and then there's like tables and then booths over here. And then male bathroom with urinal, and female bathroom without urinal, you know. Like this one might have like a diaper changing something or other in it because it's extra space, you know, and there's sinks, and more booths, more tables. These ones are a bit bigger, you know. And then this is the kitchen. There's going to be double doors here, a door into the bar so that the bartender can get stuff, and then a like walk-in pantry freezer thing. Maybe actually I'll go something like this. There we go. So it's a bit bigger now. But now there's like the staircase that goes up and then empty space. Not sure what I'll do with that. I think I'll just leave it. And then back here, we got ourselves a garage door. So this is going to be an alley, right? So there would be another building like over here. So it's meant to be big enough that a truck can pull in, right? Or like back in, and then deliver all the stuff, right? Like if the restaurant needs extra, you know, bread for sandwiches and stuff, like the truck has a shipment of that and it comes in, and you know, they drop stuff off. There's like crates in the corner and like a shelf or whatever, and then they can bring it into the pantry, right, and start cooking. So yeah, and I'm thinking, so there's windows here, so this can't butt up against the building, you know. So there's windows over there, so that's gonna be an alleyway, so that's fine. There's windows over here, so this can't butt up against the building. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know if I want to make this like a corner building or make this like another alleyway, but I'll decide later. So yeah, actually I think I might make it a corner building, right? Nice corner. And then there'll be a street out here that like wraps around, you know? So yeah, and then up top is the roof. I think there's gonna be a section for like HVAC equipment. If you didn't know, that stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So there'll be like HVAC stuff up here, but also like a public kind of gardeny, you know, chill area, you know, and like also like the elevator, like the pulleys and stuff for the elevator, that kind of stuff, you know. So yeah, I'll get back to you in a little bit once I have some progress made. Actually, never mind. One thing you have to do before you start the building is assemble any gradients you may need for the exterior first. I like going exterior, that way, since it's just a plan, I don't have to like rip apart like a bedroom or something if I need to change something, you know? So I'm thinking in the alleyway, it's gonna be pretty grimy and gross, you know? So maybe, I'm not sure what color I want it though. Let's look over at our little model. Yeah, let's make this building like a brick, and then whatever building is over here, kind of like a packed mud type. No, maybe that's a packed mud, and this is or maybe that's a brick, and this is a packed mud. Yeah. So we got our base colors right here, right? So base color. And then we want to have something dark that we can use as grime or shadow, something like that, you know? So maybe we got brown. And then we got to have like a highlight, right? Something that, raw iron is the most highlighty kind of color for this, but I'm not sure. I think maybe we could use something like jungle wood. I've used a combination of this, I've used this kind of color palette before, this like muddy tones in that building over there, but the raw iron didn't turn out so well, so I'm gonna try this. So now we gotta create colors in between here. Yeah. So we have a gradient here now, right? So, by the way, gradients can be bigger or smaller depending on the size of the building. Like if I were making a smaller building, I'd take something like this with the highlight and one other thing, right? If it's a smaller building like that one. But since this is kind of a big apartment building, then you kind of need more variety since it's like that tall and that wide, you know. So yeah, I think we can just get away with doing that. Yeah, it works. So this is our gradient now. So what I'll do is I'll take the center color, which is this mud bricks, and I'll make the entire building out of mud brick for now. And then I'll come back in with like your packed mud and your jungle and your spruce and your brown. You know, you come back in there and you texture. You just got to get the base colors in there. So I'll come back to you once I get the base colors in there. Alright, so update. I covered all the walls in the building blocks, right? So we got white down there. I by the way, I made new gradients, so bam. So we got white on the bottom, and then brown in the middle, and then white is gonna be like the pediment at the top. But then on the sides we have gray, because we're gonna transition the white into the gray, because if this would be in the northern hemisphere, I know that that is west because I did a test earlier, and that's north, so the sun will be in the north, kinda slightly offset, so less light will come to the back, so there will be so it'll be gray, so it'll transition. And then back here I'm just not going to texture because this would be bumping up against the building. Like maybe I'll make the next building over here or something, you know. But yeah, so then over here I decided to not do anything to the windows because I have no clue if I want to make these like floor to ceilings or what. So I decided not to remove any of the green bits. But yeah, I'm gonna be texturing a little bit, and I'll get back to you. Oh, alright guys, texturing tip. So I like to use the darkest part of my gradient at places where it's the darkest. So if this is the northern hemisphere, sun is over there, so the most light shines on this side, right? So all this texture can be interpreted as either some shadow, like maybe the sun's high up in the sky and there's some shadow going down, or grime, because dirt, and why not? So underneath the ledge, either grime or shadows could appear, either one, you can decide. So you put your darkest ones in a line across the top, and then you kind of just bridge out from there. I put coarse dirt in there and dirt because the spruce against the mud brick was pretty bad, and so I put the coarse dirt, and the coarse dirt against the mud brick was still pretty bad, and the dirt against the mud brick was great, but the dirt against the spruce was bad, so I put a mix, and yeah. And then I'm not sure how I feel about these bits. I think I'll take out the jungle planks, but the right here, what's it called? The regular mud stains are meant to be like the bright spots, you know? Because down here there would be grime building up, but in here the grime is dripping down, yes, but that's like the most unaffected area, you know? So yeah, I haven't textured anything over here, but, and so I'm about to texture the windowsills. I've kind of started up here, you know, add some of that, you know, stuff like that, but you know, yeah. So windowsills, right, they keep getting lighter as you go down, except for at the bottom where you add a little bit of dark, like maybe like one of these windowsills is like really dark for no freaking reason. But yeah, so gradient, and with I'm kind of meaning for it to be grime here. So with grime you want to make it kind of drip a little. See how there's like little drip kind of things, you know? So yeah, and also under the windowsill, grime and shadows both build up, so that would be acceptable. I just kind of made random assortments of darkness. But yeah, I'll get back to you once the whole building is textured, and then I'll give you tips on like the white part, and, you know. Alright guys, I'm back. I finished texturing this back wall. So these sides are, I added a little darkness in the corner, right? But this side is the darkest by far. I even added some dark brown, what is this? Brown terracotta. And yeah, so this side is meant to be really dark. Besides those two, I have no mud brick in here and the windowsills. But yeah, I'm gonna get down to texturing the, you know, white and gray areas, so I'll get back to you then. Alrighty guys, I finished texturing the bottom. It looks trash from up close, but from afar you can see like the pillars and the beams, you know, and then like the shading. So yeah. I did change the gradient up a little bit. You can use that if you want. By the way, if you're building this in survival, don't just build it in creative and then gather a make a materials list. In the back of the alley, darkness is built up, and this is meant to be as if the whole wall was painted white, but the paint chipped away because it's neglected back here. But out in front, it's all clean and pristine and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, underneath the windows, there's all the stains, and then what I did over here is I wanted to make it look like pillars almost, like as if almost like walls, right? Like if I had diorite walls out here, right? Kind of like that, how they would be brighter in the front because they would be sticking out more, but then there would be shade behind it and over here because of the shadow that the pillar causes, you know? And so I think I did a pretty good job of that. But yeah, so the main entrance to the apartment building is right here, and you can go in here. And then yeah, so most of this wall is blank. I think I'll add some details such as maybe billboards, but like super small ones. I'm not sure. I'll add some tiny little details everywhere. By the way, worth noting, don't build this flat on the ground. You should always build it on a slab like I did over here. The slab is the sidewalk. As you can see, I built it up so that way, you know, if I wanted to, I could make a street, you know, like, you know, street, and there's the sidewalk, but then there's also the building, you know. So I'm gonna raise it up using commands and structure blocks and whatnot, and then I'm gonna do some little details. So yeah, I'll get back to you once I've done that. Alright guys, when I say add some details, I mean add some details. Look at how transformed the building is. For starters, I added signs and fire escapes. I also retextured under the fire escapes to add shadows, right? I use mangrove roots because it looks like a rusty grate, kinda, and also makes a rusty grate sound. And the ladders obviously aren't functional, but they look good and fit within that one block area. But yeah, how the iron doors are up, I used this trick. I have no clue where I learned this. I think I must have been messing with redstone and found it out. But if you take an iron trap door, right? Let's say I want it to be flipped up on this, like that, right? But I didn't want the lever because levers are ugly. I would take it, I'd place it in front of a different block as if I was placing it on that one. And then I'd take a piston, a block, and a lever, make sure that the lever would power the trapdoor and the piston, and then bam. No clue where that came from, but yeah, it works. I painstakingly did that on that whole sign. So yeah, and then, you know, fire escapes. I also added banners to these. I finished texturing the white area. I added banners to those jutty outy bits, street lights. I also added people, lots and lots of people. They're just armor stands with Steve heads and leather armor. And then cars, right? And make sure to tell like little stories. Like maybe there's an event going on, so there's banners on the street lights to promote it, right? This guy's getting mugged right here, right? This guy's calling for a taxi. This guy's getting in a taxi, you know, just stuff like that. Like this guy's pushing the button because he wants to cross this way, but he can't because people are crossing this way, and, you know. But yeah, and like I also added no parking and a fire hydrant. What you need to do is get a border block and a structure void. You place the border block and then bam, 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 bam. And yeah, but you can only see, you can walk through these, so it's not as bad as like barrier blocks, right? If I get rid of this, I can walk through this. The only thing is you cannot go anywhere over this at any level in your world if you're in survival. So, you know, you couldn't get it in survival, but whatever. I added up like a patio with a pergola, right? At the Navajo It's gonna be like a southwestern restaurant inspired by Santa Fe. I use these the scaffolding and the new bamboo blocks. I think they make really nice tables and chairs, and also the lanterns and soul lanterns. And then back here is where the deliveries are made to the restaurant. So we have a truck, and then some guys like carting boxes in and stuff like that. Get rid of that. So yeah. And then out back here, you have a chef throwing away some garbage with more fire escapes. And yeah. But there's going to be... I'm also going to add some... what's it called? Parking meters. There's like manhole covers and like sewage drains, again with the rusty grate. And yeah. But yeah, I do think I did a really nice job. I made it... I only used half of the road because like this would be the divider in the middle. I'm making it look kind of run down. So yeah. And then for the roof, I did more of that illusion texturing. You know, make the illusion of things sticking out, right? And then up here on the roof, I'll add more details later. But this is the stairwell, and this is where the elevator pulley mechanisms are. As you can see, I put some like grindstones in there to represent pulleys. If you're wondering about the white ceiling, I was afraid I was gonna put like concrete powder on here and it was gonna fall. So yeah. There's also HVAC and solar panels and whatever. So also, if you're wondering why I never use regular default doors, you can just customize those like these kind of doors better. So yeah. Alright guys, to summarize, we made some plans, we textured the outside of the building, and we added lots and lots of little details. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.